It is sometimes hard to imagine Tripoli, Lebanon is actually there. The highway from Beirut tricks you several times into believing it's just over the next hill. It does eventually appear, however. You see the row of high-rise buildings on the horizon, and it becomes easy to generalise the city as one big concrete block of problems. From the outskirts of the city, it is hard to believe that Tripoli has some of the world's best preserved Mamluk architecture, splendid Ottoman buildings, and an unfinished futurist World Fair. In fact, the dizzying mix of all of these civilizations who have called Tripoli home has created something very special, and can perhaps explain the rebellious individual spirit of its people, which this exploration tries to showcase. Tripoli has always been and still is a city of revolution. It begrudgingly became part of the Lebanese Republic after the creation of the modern Lebanese state in 1943, but has always retained an independent spirit. Many of the protests and civil uprisings in the attempted revolution of 2019 started in Tripoli as a secular movement against a corrupt ruling class that has changed little since the civil war.
So, Mario, do you ever come to Tripoli?
Actually, less than I should. Ever since I became an adult, a lot of problems have been happening in Tripoli. So I've been there once or twice, but yeah, not nearly enough.
I was 19 when I first went to Tripoli by accident when I was going to the mountains from Beirut. I remember being scared of the tanks and soldiers everywhere after clashes between the Lebanese army and Salafists. Luckily, what I discovered about Tripoli blew me away. Not only its history, but its people and the surreal beauty amongst its many decaying treasures.
Wow, like finally we meet. I am very shocked. Somebody who knows so much about
Welcome to Tripoli, finally.
Thank you. If there was, we like to say like Tripoli is, we were talking about it, it's a bit cliche, but Tripoli is a hidden gem. Why is it like that?
First of all, the city was the capital before Beirut took over.
I did not know that.
Yes, Beirut took over in the 19th century, but Tripoli was the big port for a long time before Beirut took over in the 19th century. So, talking about the port, Tripoli has a port.
Yeah.
So whenever you have a port, it means there are many possibilities, exactly, for a city to grow economically, industrially in the industry. Also, the city, it has different parts of it.
Yeah,
it has different parts. One is the modern part where we are here right now, and then you have the old city, which is like the Islamic medieval crusader city, which is very rich in lots of culture and heritage. And then you have something that you always forget, which is Mina, which is the seaside area. So you have the seaside area, you have the Oscar Niemeyer Fairground, which is a modern heritage, you have the cultural, historical, medieval heritage, and you have a lot of other heritage within it, which are, for example, food heritage.
Food is amazing.
I mean, Tripoli is very famous for its sweets, for its food. We have lots of varieties that you don't even find in Beirut. And the city also, apart from that, is like is less stressful than Beirut. It has more possibilities to grow because of the landscapes, because we have a lot of places that are not used yet that we can use in different ways.
If there was one, you don't have much time in Tripoli, and there was one building or site that you think you should visit, with the exception of the World Fair, where would you say it is?
That's a very difficult question. Depends on your taste, actually. But if you're really into castle and medieval castles, definitely the castles to visit. It's monumental. It's one of the biggest castles in Lebanon, the most preserved. It's very famous after Le Crac des Chevaliers, the one in next to Hamas.
Okay, I'm rolling.
The famous Samki Hara.
Thank you.
Let's try it.
That's Samki Hara.
You needed the extra hara, because Samki Hara is not spicy. I love it, but it's not spicy.
That's true.
So how
It's very good.
It's very hearty, I love it. With the lemon and so much garlic. So how have you found Tripoli? The honest. Has it blown away all expectations?
I didn't have expectations that are very far away from this, because as I told you, I've been here a couple of times, but I think I already told you what surprised me is how alive the people were. شو في شيء بطرابلس بتحبوه معين؟
بحب الدنيا كلها.
بحب الدنيا كلها. بحب اللحم. هون ألعب على البحر.
بتحب هون تقعد على المينا تلعب؟
أو بحب ساعد أبي.
بتحب تساعد بيك؟ شو بيعمل بيك؟
بيشتغل.
بشو؟
عنده كافيتيريا.
شيء مميز البحر أكثر شيء.
البحر؟
ايه.
اوكي ليه فيك تفسري لي اكثر؟
ايه. نعم. ايه. والسوق القديمة.
السوق القديمة؟
ايه. أما بقى في ضيق.
ما عليك تبيل.
Its uniqueness and the richness of culture is something that does not leave you. It is a city built on different civilizations, each one leaving their own mark. It is a city that is too concerned about existence in the present to worry too much about commemorating its past for now. It's fiery people living amongst such political and economic crises.
Okay, so you, as an architect and artist, where does the inspiration come for you in Tripoli? Because there's a lot to see.
Yes, okay, so basically my whole point about doing my work or my inspiration is mainly Tripoli, you know?
Okay.
At the moment that I lived in Tripoli, my childhood, every step that I take in Tripoli is actually, it's kind of inspiration for me. Mm-hmm. The way that people treat each other, every events, every moment that happen here. And my main focus is always to show the good side of Tripoli.
I actually have another question for you. The picture that you've made of the revolution, the sketch with people there, you were there when it happened. Yes. It's amazing.
Thank you.
What do you think, like, the mood has changed in Tripoli since then?
You know, people till now, they do have like this small hope of change.
Yeah.
You know, even with the whole economic crisis and Corona and everything, people in Tripoli specifically.
Because a lot of it started in Tripoli.
Exactly.
Not Beirut, nowhere else.
Exactly. But until now, whenever you walk, even right now, if you walk in the souks, in the street or anything, you can still find this happy faces. You know?
I think we saw that as well.
Yeah. And people still have like this small hope. They are trying their best to adapt, but it is kind of hard, you know.
Yeah,
it's not like before.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
I try to leave with a positive outlook on the city. Beirut's gentrification, for example, followed similar patterns to many European cities and has hollowed out and destroyed neighbourhoods' traditional characters. In this sense, Tripoli has a golden opportunity to avoid these mistakes and develop an alternative model of urbanism that allows it to retain its fiery, surreal soul.